guys, this is Joy Ani scrapping in my own private Idaho, and today we are doing Title Tuesday. It is Thursday, so I'm a little bit late getting this video out, but I like to do one once a week, and so that's kind of what we're doing. Today I have scrap lifted another layout from the um, from the album retreat that Stampin' Up! Had, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm also going to talk about how to use PML cards in different ways, and I've used the PML cards this way, and I think that's it. We're also going to talk about the different types of Cricut cuts that you would have in Cricut Design Space and how to jazz them up a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. So I wanted to show you the inspiration that I followed, and this is from the Stampin' Up! Album retreat. This is the layout that I am scrap lifting, and I'm going to show you how I popped this up, and I will share a design Cricut file for this. And I think that's it. You can see from the album retreat we did a lot of sponging. I'm not going to sponge today because so this is a layout that does not use a lot of pattern paper. So the only pattern paper that they have is this one, and I actually swapped out this one. This one is from my stash because I'm not for sure why I did it that way, but I did. And I also, so in their layout, they had this page on the left-hand side and the right. I swapped them. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you what I've done so far. I'm not going to actually create a page. I'm going to show you the created page. I'm going to take the pieces and place them on there, and I will show you how to pop up this. Eventually, when I get an album in place, I will show you how to slit that so that you can get the pockets in and out. And I'm going to also show you ways to, you can add pictures to these or journaling, whichever the case may be. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is the layout that I did. So let's go ahead, since it's Title Tuesday, and that may be the only thing that you're interested in, so let's go ahead and get started on the title. So titles in Cricut Design Space, this title was already created. It was, all I had to do was, I did add a, not an overlay, I always forget what it's called. This mulberry part, I added that, and that's not an overlay. I will put it in the notes. It will come to me while I'm going along. So I'll show you exactly what it looked like. So the Design Space file as shown in Cricut. So if you did not do anything to this Cricut file, and how you find them was, how I found this one was, I looked in Friesen. So I wanted something to go with my snow theme, and so I went along, I did this along with 'Tis the Season to Be Friesen. I thought that was really cute. And you can see that originally I made it with just, this was a paper pack that was from Close to My Heart. It's called Wonderland. And I used the stickers that were in the sticker sheet and the PML cards that went with. But I am creating many of these layouts, and so I wanted something that was replicable. So I decided, and what I did was I actually measured how big this was because I liked the spacing on that. So so it's a pretty good cover up, I guess you would call it. So if you just cut it in Design Space file, this is what it looked like. So the pieces, so there's two kinds. So this is kind of made as, you create this by selecting it. Like if I type these words in, whatever, I'd select it and then I'd subtract it, and you're actually having the negative space. And the advantage to that is then I don't have to put all these small letters on. That does not sound like fun to me. And so a lot of times, if you are having a lot of letters or a lot of small pieces, you might want to use a title that has the negative space. So then the overlay, you can press a button, and this is the part I keep forgetting. And you know what? This is a different. Oh my goodness! I cut them all wrong. No, okay, it goes like this. Sorry, no panic. So then you can press a button, and it's called overlay. Overlay is the wrong word. People are probably shouting at me. It's blah blah. It starts with there's an outline. I'm going to show, if you pop over to my business page, I will show you exactly the picture of what you go under the pencil, and then you select the pencil, and it gives you all the options that you can do with Cricut File, and this is one of them. It's outline, overlay. I don't know why I can't think of it today. But anyway, so this is what I'm going to do. This is kind of plain, so today I'm going to jazz up a title because it is very plain. If I just put it on the page like that, that would be kind of sad and lonely. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue it down, and I'm going to show you a couple things. Now, the disadvantage of using the negative space, I had a little thing that I put under this. Well, I guess I'm not going to be able to use it. I'm just going to stick this on very lightly so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to put this on here. The disadvantage of using this type of negative space is you have to save all the little pieces. Like I need to save the piece from the E. I need to save the piece from the O. That drives me a little bonkers. So I came up with a cheat. I think I came up with a cheat. And the cheat is with white. And that's the reason I actually use this white is I don't want to fill in all the little pieces. So what I do is I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to use a white gel pen, and I am going to fill it in. That's what I've done with this one. This one I have filled in the white pieces, and you really can't tell. So, and if you're not fussy, you can just go ahead and just fill it in to how it looks good to you. And that way you don't have to save all the teeny tiny white spaces, which will make you go a little bit bonkers, I would think. So even with this, it still is a little plain. And I know there are people out there that absolutely love Nuvo. I thought I had some, but I don't. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to jazz this up a little bit. I'm going to use some silver glimmer on my snowflakes. I'm going to just set this down here. So that is probably the biggest complaint I hear about Cricut cuts is, you know, they can be pretty flat. They can be one-dimensional, but I'm just showing you some ways that you can jazz it up a little bit if you don't want your Cricut cuts to be so one-dimensional. So I've added the centers, I've added this. I'm going to also add this little hat. So this hat came off the pattern paper. I cut it out, and I'm just going to pop it up and put it right here, just to add a little something of interest to my my Cricut cut, because that can be kind of plain. So I say that. I'm going to just tape it down, but I will pop dot it. Just know that I'll pop dot it. So that is one thing that I can do. Okay, so now that we've got the title down, let's talk about the sketch. So I followed the sketch fairly closely, and remember, on the sketch from the album retreat, I did a reverse. So that page is that page. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you. I haven't shown you in a while how to gut a paper, and I'm going to because I need the paper. So the beauty of gutting. So when you're doing a big project, like I'm making several of these layouts, so the beauty of gutting is you save so much paper. And it also saves, the biggest problem that I have when I put my paper in albums is the thickness. They're so thick. I mean, it feels like if I put the album on a child, it would crush the child. So gutting your paper really helps with the thickness of your book, and it saves paper. So how I'm going to gut a paper is I'm pressing it down here, and I'm starting at 1 and then going down to 1, and I'm going to start there. Then I flip it around this way, and if you know how to do this, you can fast forward right past me. The colors that I'm using, in case you want to recreate this layout and you have this paper pack, it's called Wonderland. This paper, I actually ran out of wisteria, even though I bought so much paper before, so much cardstock before Close to My Heart went out. And it's been a year, and I'm now starting to run out of colors. So this is wisteria. Periwinkle also looks good, although it's a different color. So I'm going to go ahead. So see how I've done that? I don't worry. Remember, I'm not a perfectionist. So I'm just going to clip this like this. And from this, I'm going to get all my photo mats. So I don't have to worry about, I actually save 2 pieces, I save a piece of paper because I'm just using the outline. I'm getting to use all of my mats. If I want to use titles, I can use the titles. So that's why I'm doing this. So this is the paper. This is the gutted paper. Oh dear, I hope you're still here because I'm getting a message. So, oops, got one more square to throw down. And sometimes, okay, so this is going to be a little bit, so now that I've done this, I'm thinking, so the reason I gutted this, I normally wouldn't have gutted it because this doesn't go all the way down. So I am going to just grab a piece of white backed paper to go on the back of it. I use that thin stuff that, I'm going to use the thin stuff. Because I am out of this paper and I am being stingy with it. I didn't have enough of this wisteria left to complete this. So even though now it's not going to be as thinner, so just disregard that other thing. Okay, so I'm going to put this here, and I am going to put this here. I would share the dimensions with it, but I paid for this album retreat, so I can't share the dimensions with you, so I do apologize for that. So, and they didn't get their paper, but I am, because I am making multiples of this. And so I'm just putting this 1/2 inch on the end. I'm recreating it just the way they had it, and I will, I'm going to use my wisteria later. That's why I'm doing that. And I am not going to glue this down. I am just kind of putting it in place so you'll know what it looks like. And well, this is right here. This is right here. And this is right here. And it goes up to the top. And then I have this right here. Okay, so this is a little pocket. Let me show you what to do on the pocket. So you want your pocket, you want your things to be able to slide in. So I'm going to cut this, and I'm also going to, and then you can put this is a great way to use your PML cards if they're lined. Another example that I wanted to show you. So look at this PML. This is a lined journaling one that will go beautifully with this layout. So what I'm doing, it is a 4x6. So to make it stretch it farther, I am of course going to just cut it in by 3. Okay. I would also probably back these in mulberry. This mulberry, if you wanted to add a little pizzazz, but I don't want the video to be that long. So let me show you how to fill this. So this pocket is actually, it's just a piece of paper that is 3 by 5. So in order for my pocket to work, I am going to go ahead and pop that. So I'm going to show you the original. Yes, I am going to show you the original. I buried the original. Where did the original go? Oh, here it is. So I wanted to show it on this because this is actually somebody else's. I'm going to put in the pack. So what you do to make this more interactive is I'm going to take foam tape and I'm going to go all the way around. So that allows your things to be interactive. So I'm going to put it right here. And this is not, you can use this dimensional tape because I'm just grabbing from what I have. And this, of course, is the top, so I'm not going to put foam tape on that. I'm going to put foam tape on 3 sides, like this. And anytime I have a pocket, I use foam tape so that the tags or whatever I have doesn't keep sliding all the way down. So like if you wanted this to be your title more, you might want to put foam tape right across here and not have it so that it wouldn't slide down so far. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this because this is my finished one. I'm going to make it up, line it up here. And like I said, you can also, this can be your title. If you have leftover PML cards, I know if you're anything like me, I have PML cards, and if you're a Stampin' Up! Person, you have Project Life cards because they sold Project Life cards for a while, or even the Memories and More. You can use these as title opportunities on your page. So I've measured that up and see how this slides right in. If you are short on places for pictures, you could put your pictures here or on the back. You can, if you want to have more color, you can definitely bring in the mulberry. If you could even, see, I love this title. You could even put it like that, and then have a smaller journaling one down like that. So the world is your oyster, so to speak. I didn't like mine moving around, so I put them like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about how we do the tags. So another thing that they had was if you don't have PML cards, you can make your own. And that is one of the things that they did in Album Retreat. If I can find my original, I will show you. It looks like this. So this is, they've made it for a photo, and you can have it on both sides. Since you're pulling it out, you could have a photo on the front and the photo on the back. So let me show you how we did that. So this one is, it is 4 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to cut from my paper that I scavenged. I'm going to go ahead and put my 3 by 4. And my edges get kind of wonky just because of the way that I cut them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten those up before I cut that. And then I'm going to just do a 3 by 4. And I'll show you how they made that tag. That's going to be 3 by 4. Oops. See, this side is wonky too, so I'm gonna go ahead and straighten that up. Some people are so good, whoops, when they don't have this issue, but because I'm not a real precise person, I sometimes have to trim things up before I make them my final version. Okay, so now I have the 4, and this is going to be my journaling spot, and oh, this is actually periwinkle I have on this one. Some of them are periwinkle and some are wisteria because, like I said, I ran out. So I'm going to, so if I were going to do this, I'm I'm going to take an angle off of here. I'm going to use this as my pattern because I don't want it to, I want it to look even. And then I'm going to just take it off there. So I use it as a pattern. I have this angly one that I really like. I'm going to, because I want it to go across. You could have it also come down. I just chose to go this way. So I'm just going to, and I'm going to put that. For my tag and my my ribbon, I have this, and I have, so I'm going to use this. This doesn't match. I'm going to change this out with white because, like I said, I thought this, I ran out of the, but I'm just going to tie it like this, and I'm going to tie right here, and then I'm going to take my picture, or if you don't have your pictures yet, you can go ahead and it fits a 3x3. So if you put a 3x3 down here, then you'll have the same look as right there. So let's go ahead and show that part. So I've lined up my pieces right here. I put this right here. Oops, sorry, it's sliding around. I just wanted to show, and see how great this layout would be for just little bitty pieces of scraps. Basically you need 2 large sheets. If you have two-sided paper, I just used two-sided paper, and then some scraps. This was larger than a scrap. Okay, so then this, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut out my large picture here, which is going to be a 4x6. So I'm going to cut out a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 mat from my scavenged piece. 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And I will say that if you are, I'm sharing this with my retreat group because you will, one of the layouts that you are receiving is this one. So, all right, so there's that. And I will share this file, this little scallopy file. I have a Cricut file that goes with that, and I'll share that with the title. So that's that page. So we are back to this page. So this page is kind of the same idea. I have used rosemary. Rosemary. Yeah, oh, this is the rosemary one, and then this is, so there's, oh, sorry, there's also a piece right across here. Oh, I forgot that sheet. And yeah, so I have it right across there. And then you would just, if there's another title right here, so you can use, I forgot the title, sorry. This title was created by just a hole punch. So you're just going to take some white paper, any white paper that you can have. I'm going to grab one really quick. There's white paper everywhere. I'm going to use, I used just any stamp set. Look for a small stamp set that has it. Try out some of yours. So this one says Winter Day. This one says Cuddle Weather. So I'm sure you have some weather-related things that you can get from your stash. And I am drawing from my this layout is, this one is called. I'm not for sure. It was one of the snow ones. But I'm going to stamp it in rosemary, which is my dark color. I like it to be with my dark colors. So I'm going to use my dark color, which is rosemary. And then I have these little teeny tiny snowflakes. So any kind of teeny tiny, start looking for your on your stamp sets and see if there's any teeny tiny I call them foo-foo stamps. In our album retreat, we had a lot of them. That wasn't the best stamping in the world, but I'm going to just, and then I'm using a color that was called Glacier. Remember, I can stamp off a little bit to give it a different look, and then I could sponge it, and then that would go right up at the top right there. So I'm going to go ahead and add those pieces. Oh, sorry, let me not confuse you. Let's have one side on one side and one on the other. Okay, so then on this side, and we have, of course, we have our little pink strip that is somewhere. There's a pink strip that goes right here. So that is our finish completed. And then we just put the strips. I'm not going to go over everything. I think you can figure this out. So these are short strips. So you could definitely use your scraps. This is a 4x6. This is a 3x4. We're going to have this run along, and it's going to go underneath. So once again, it doesn't really matter. I just literally, I had strips left, and I was just plopping them down. And so that goes right there, and then this is going to go here. And oh, I was going to show you how to add stickles to your sheet. And then this one, sorry, where did it go? This is this one. So how I created this under here. So let me go ahead and make the 3x4. I've got a 3x4 that goes right here for your pictures. That's by 4. Oh, that's supposed to be about a quarter. Oops. Let's try that again. Well, we're just gonna cheat a little bit. Okay, so this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Oops. 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. Sorry. I'm just going to cut that one off. I don't normally do quite so much on screen, but okay, so that's going to go right there. And it has a little bit on there, like this. Okay. So, and then what we have overlap. Let me show you what you can do. So if you have PML cards, you can cut out the icons, like some of them have these little things like this. What I did in this case was, this one was a sticker. So I'm trying to recreate the sticker. And so there was paper, there's pattern paper. So look at your pattern paper, and Stampin' Up! Has a lot that you can cut out. So this is the paper, and I am just putting this right here. And well, I think I like it. And I'll horse around with it a little bit until I like it. And you just kind of monkey around a little bit, and you do the cutout pieces. So let's go ahead and add some stickles. I'll show you just a little bit, and you can see the end result of the stickles is this. So let me show you what the finished layout is going to look like. And here is my pink piece. That was the elusive pink piece. It's going to go right across here like this. And this could be a zip strip if you're coming from close to my heart, or just cut it at a 4th. So then this goes right here. And this goes right here. So adding the stickles to it is super easy. And I added the diamond part. I added the diamond part right onto the, after I put on these pieces, which is totally okay. And I was pretty light-handed with it, and do remember that when you use this stuff, it takes forever to dry. But you can see it's just easy to add onto this. So what I'm sharing with you today is I'm sharing this Cricut file that I'm working on right now. Oh boy, I'm not very good at this. And I'm sharing the top of the pocket. So I hope you will like and subscribe. I hope you will look at, so if you are a person that maybe you've done album retreats with close to my heart before. You might have done them with, you might have done the most recent one with Stampin' Up. Look at these as like, okay, so there's 12 of them. Look at them as being 12 sketches that you can use in a variety of ways. So the original layout that this was intended for was a really generic month in review, which I love because I do calendars. That's why I'm making so many of these, is I love to do calendars. And so that is a great way to do it. And when you're doing the month in review, I learned this from my friend Sandy, she keeps hers in like a little file. And then if you don't have, so if you don't have an, 4 pictures to make a layout, you could put them in the month in review, and then that moment is captivated, but you also have the ability to put a bunch of memories without, because what I'm finding with a lot of people that I scrap for, they only want one book. They take 1,000 pictures, but they only want 12 layouts for the entire year, because there's just, it gets to be a storage issue. So anyway, so I hope you will like and subscribe to my channel, and if you like the, if you want to see more layouts that I have been inspired from the album retreat, just let me know, and I hope this will help you use up your stash of PML cards, and I hope it will inspire you to use this type. Ooh, I just set this down. That was not a good thing. I hope it will inspire you to use this type of cutout. So don't be afraid of it. So, so I showed you this type. So let's look at the 2 types of titles that you might find on Cricut Design Space. That if you have free access, you can use these for free. So it might look like this, or it might look like this. So this is the positive space one, and this would be using the negative space. Okay, that's all. I have yammered on for 32 minutes, so I think that's long enough for today. I hope you have a great day, and we will talk with you later. Thanks so much. Bye.